Today, I'm gonna show you how to make crispy tofu that will fool any tofu hater into liking it. I have proof of my theory because my fiance hated tofu until I made him this, and I just didn't tell him it was tofu the first time I made it, and I gave it to him. He loved it. He honestly thought it was chicken nuggets. So at the bare minimum, all you need is firm tofu or extra firm tofu and cornstarch. The rest is just additions and anything that you want to flavor it with, but at the bare minimum, you just need these two things. First things first, we need to strain the liquid out of your tofu. Now we need to press all the liquid out of the tofu. Everyone does this a little bit differently, but this is how I do it to achieve super crispy tofu. Take a kitchen towel, lie it down. If you don't trust your kitchen towels, put a paper towel on top. On a second plate, I'm gonna turn out my tofu. This part depends on what shape you want your tofu to be. A lot of people do cubes, but I like to do strips. So I'm just gonna cut my tofu into about 1/2-inch strips. Lay your tofu out on the paper towel. Just be careful not to break them. I've got my 8 tofu strips here. Place some paper towel on top, as well as another kitchen towel. Then put something heavy on top to weigh it down. I like to use my cast iron. Now I'm just gonna leave this alone for like a 1/2 hour. It's been about a 1/2 hour, so we're gonna take off our cast iron. And our tofu should be nice and dry. Turn your tofu out onto a plate. And now we want to cover our tofu in cornstarch. This is going to create a crust on the outside so it gets super duper crispy. I'm about to run out of cornstarch, so I'm just going to shake it all over. There are probably less messy ways to do this, but whatever. I'm also going to add some sumac just for some flavor. I love the lemony citrusy flavor that sumac gives. Also adding some herb amara. This is just herbed sea salt. And cracked pepper because I can't eat anything without it. Now just toss your tofu around, making sure it's covered on all sides. Now I'm adding a good amount of oil to my pan. The tofu will soak up the oil, so you might have to reapply oil after a couple minutes because the tofu is like a sponge and it will absorb anything that you put it in. I'm gonna start off with some avocado oil. Don't be shy. I have it heating up to like a medium-ish heat. There are so many delicious ways to enjoy tofu beyond just crispy tofu. And tofu also comes in a bunch of different shapes and textures. You can get anywhere from soft, silken tofu to extra firm tofu, which I use for my crispy tofu. There's so many ways to enjoy it, so many ways to eat it. And I know it probably doesn't sound super appetizing if you've never had it, but all I have to say is just give it a chance, give it a try, and you might really, really like it. Adding the tofu to my hot skillet. And I'm gonna leave my tofu alone for like 7 minutes. It does take a little bit longer than you might think. Don't be afraid, it will get crispy if you just give it some time. Good things take time. But if it starts looking a little dry, definitely add some more oil. After about 7 minutes, flip your tofu and give it the crispy test, AKA take a knife and if you could scratch it across the back of the tofu and you hear this, then it's done. And now 7 minutes on the other side. And it's really that simple. Hot. As long as you hear this, you know it's done. Hot, hot, hot. You could eat this just straight up with a dipping sauce of your choice. You could also season it with whatever you want. One time I did lemon pepper crispy tofu and that was really, really good. But I like to eat my crispy tofu with a rice bowl. So I've just got some rice, broccoli, gonna add some of my tofu. I'll add some soy sauce, sriracha, some yum yum sauce. I use a variety of different toppings, but I'm gonna add some liquid aminos. This is basically just healthier soy sauce. Some yum yum sauce. Sometimes I like to toss my tofu as if it were like a boneless chicken wing. Toss it in some wing sauce. There's so many ways to eat it. It's really easy to make. It's vegan/vegetarian if that's your thing, and it's a lot cheaper than buying meat protein. I know tofu isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you just give it one chance, you might actually really like it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, or interact in any way. Any and all support is greatly appreciated, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.